Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are returning to Rule the Waves 2, the game about ship designing and our journey as the US to trying to conquer the world basically. So just last time we've played against we've been in a war against the United Kingdom. We've been fairly successful, we did capture some territory, but right now tensions are increasing against Japan, so I think this is a good place to just look at our funding, just look at our ships that we do have. We currently do have a couple of battleships, some battle cruisers, light cruisers, all of that. All in all though, just the early war against the United Kingdom did result in the Washington Naval Treaty being, well, scrapped. So that has an interesting implication, because right now we're actually leading in battleship tonnage. You can see we have about 250,000 of battleship tonnage, whereas the United Kingdom does have a little bit less, but you can see this build activity, especially by the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union right now is building 4 Admiral-class battleships, much bigger than any of our ships, and very, very heavy ships as far as we can tell. I don't think we know that much about them, but they must be enormous ships. So yeah, we'll have to really think about that. We also have to see that we have built a couple of light cruisers by now. We've converted them from basically old battle cruisers and old battleships. So yeah, that's going to be okay. We've also been building a couple of things over here that you can see. I would like to look at these obsolete ships now. We do have these Barry classes, they are considered obsolete, and I think that should soon give them an increase in their maintenance costs. So we are going to open this for rebuild. I don't think we're actually going to do anything over here. All in all, I'm still somewhat satisfied with the cruiser design over here. We might want to do some... well, we are overweight already, so let's just save that. Ooh, could we do better firing? I'm kind of tempted not to do this because, well, it's destroyers, and just how well can they fight anyway? So let's look at the rebuild cost. I think it's too much. Let's simply give them a new paint job and just more of a nominal upgrade, and that's going to be okay. So yeah, we're going to upgrade you. We're also going to upgrade this one. Rebuild ship. Yeah, there we go. Which design do you think I want? Right. Excellent. So that does take care of our destroyers. We do have a couple of light cruisers over here, and we do have the Montana classes battleships. And I'm excited to do something with these guys. But, you know, with the Galveston, I don't think... If we look at the design, so firstly, one thing to note is they have a nominal speed of 29 knots. In reality, they only have 26 knots, so I think there must be a huge design flaw, which sometimes happens in the game, and purely on this basis alone, I don't think they are very good ships. They are fairly slow compared to all of our other light cruisers. They're a little bit older, they have guns, but they are not an impressive design. You can see it's more or less single gun mounts all over the place, and they're not even very heavily armored. And just compare that against, let's say, our latest destroyers, which do have these turreted main guns. So I really don't think it's worthwhile to keep the Galveston around. So you know what? We're gonna scrap these 3 ships. It's gonna be all right. There we go. Does give us some money. Does more or less save us some maintenance, which is good as well. And then we're gonna have a look at the Montana, because we do have a couple of good battleships. I'm fairly happy with the Arizona. You can see 15-inch guns, 10 of them in a fairly decent layout, 12.5-inch belt armor. So that's pretty good. We've got the Delawares, similar, just 1-inch smaller gun caliber, a little bit less armor, still a decent design. And the New Jersey, I think, is more or less actually the same, so I don't even know why these are considered different classes. But then we have the Montana. Much smaller guns, a lot less armor, weird gun layout, so it's only broadside of really 8 12-inch guns at the maximum, compared to 10, 15-inch guns. So these are really not good ships. I don't think we want to keep them around, so we are going to open them for rebuild. So we could either scrap them, or what we're going to do is we are going to try to get a decent ship out of this. And what we're going to do is we are going to make this our first carrier. You cannot build carriers from scrap. You have to do... so firstly we're going to remove all of these torpedo tubes. You have to basically convert an existing ship into a carrier first. So let's try to get an aircraft carrier with the capacity to carry 30 aircraft. That hopefully will be alright. We will have to delete all of these centerline turrets at the very least, so these ones that would be in the way off the flight deck, because obviously that would not be legal design. So let's delete this turret, let's delete this turret, let's delete the forward turret. Let's keep the secondary, or sorry, the wing turrets, because the game does consider, or does want you to have those, and I think they must be of caliber 8, which is going to be okay. We're going to put them on increased elevation. These are much less heavy, they are not basically quite not as heavy as the other ones, so we're going to decrease the armor on these guys quite a bit, so let's update that. Yeah, they should be much smaller. We're of course going to remove all of the superstructure, even though that's purely cosmetic, so that has no game effect whatsoever, but we can say that these things here should be asymmetrical, so let's move these things here to the back, and I think that's okay. Of course, a little bit of a bland design for now, but let's firstly check whether that is legal. So it is identified as a carrier, which is of course okay. So firstly, the game does tell us that a carrier needs to have 24 knots and some guns. I don't know why it says 6-inch guns. I think it's 8-inch guns. And of course, yeah, so let's take care of the speed first. We have to replace the machinery. That's going to increase the rebuild cost dramatically, as you can see over there, and we're going to bring it up to 24 knots, and that should get rid of this error. We're also going to add some turrets, so let's do some, sorry, not centerline, but the S and T turrets, double turret design. So it's a weird design, I have to admit, but it's basically what you'd expect. Right, and this would already be a legal design, and well, just for sake of, I know it's not, I really know it's not pretty, but I do want to, oh sorry, it's not a line, yeah, but I do want it to be recognizable as a carrier, so let's draw this little thing over here and a little island towards over here. I really know it's not pretty, but you know, just so I can visually distinguish it in battle. Right, so all in all, I think that's legal. We could shift a couple of things, and I think we should. So firstly, let's get dual purpose secondary guns, because that would mean that we can use these guys in anti-air capacity, and I think that would be very helpful. Let's also make sure that these guys have been updated to all of the latest designs over here. Yeah, that looks good so far. I really think we do need some anti-air guns, because we'd really expect this to be a very, well, one of the most important things that this guy could be hit with is probably some aircraft in an aircraft-to-aircraft battle. So we are now slightly overweight. That's okay. I think we can drop one of these fire control positions. Did that actually increase the cost? What does it increase the cost to drop one? Okay, so we're gonna keep them. They're not that, the weight is not that high anyway. 30 aircraft really is not that much, so let's actually replace this with an oil firing machinery, because we are replacing the machinery anyway, so that is something that we can definitively do. All in all, can we do director here? Yeah, we can, so let's do that. Could do tertiary guns, but I think that would usually drive up the costs very significantly. Well, it's actually pretty okay. It's only 5 guns per side, but we do also have the lighter guns, so I think that's going to be okay. Can I do 2 more aircraft? I think that's probably a little bit too much. Engine priority. Could do a little bit more speed instead. A couple of less guns maybe. Sorry, less main gun armor. It's basically only there to fight against destroyers and maybe light cruisers anyway. Certainly don't want to do anything with mine warfare, so yeah, you know what? I think this is actually an okay design. No. That gets way too expensive. 31 aircraft? No, really. Ammo allowance is on the low side. Yeah, no. Okay, so let's actually increase the number of secondary guns over here, just so we have a little bit better AA situation. That means we have to decrease these guys over here a little bit. But yeah, overall we are fine. And then we can simply add some ammo. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is our first aircraft carrier, our first proper aircraft carrier. It's a shit ship. it's really not that great with only 30 aircraft. But it's something that we do need, so yeah, let's go ahead and let's rebuild this. I think that's going to be okay. It's going to take over a year, basically, and then we have the Oklahoma. We could also rebuild this guy, but you know what? We're just going to scrap it. And there we go. That does take care of all of our obsolete ships. We do have quite a bit of money, and you know what? The next likely war that we'll be ending up with is against Japan. If we do have a look at Japan, I think the most likely scenario where we could engage them is down here in Southeast Asia. So in and around this territory, and or maybe here. So Guam and or the Philippines is a likely area of conflict. So I think what we're going to do is actually go to coastal fortifications over here and look at the airbase in Manila, and we're going to expand the airbase over here a little bit. Right, that should be okay, so that's going to give us a little bit more money there. Yeah, and other than that, I don't think there's that much else that we do need. There are a couple of ships under construction, especially light cruisers, and I think we might actually want to build a couple more of those, because again, some of these earlier light cruisers here really don't cut it anymore to me, so I think we're going to go with a couple of Cleveland classes. Sorry, not this, build ship. The Cleveland classes, yes, there we go. Let's build 2 more of those, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that does mean we are now building 4 of those, and I think that's okay. Right, brief check over here. Do you guys have... Sorry, do you guys have improved directors? Yes, you do. So that's all pretty good. I think that's fantastic. So finally, let's get the next turn over here. Our scientists report that they're way to understanding super heavy shells. Ooh, interesting. Couple of news over here. Not that much. Great Britain rebuilding some ships. Soviet Union refitting some of their light cruisers, so maybe we'll have to upgun our light cruisers. New Japanese dive bomber, and quite a couple of other things. Nothing too drastic, really. Right, so next turn. 2 light cruisers being commissioned, that's nice, that does free up some money. A disarmament conference is being held in The Hague. What is your recommendation for the delegation? Of course, we're just going to go for we should not be limited, I think. Yes, we should not be limited. It's going to improve or increase... Ooh, triple turrets. You know, this is, I think, a bug because we have actually been able to design light cruisers with triple turrets already. So the Union is refitting more of their ships with heavier guns. Interesting. And the Soviet Union is doing... Ooh, and someone has... Germany has been stealing stuff from us. Interesting. Right, so we've gotten a couple of new ships, and I think that was the light cruisers. Which were these? Okay, so you're all working up, that's okay. And these guys are on colonial duty. That's okay too. We've got about 5 million bucks left to play around with. I think it would be good to expand our dock size just a little bit. I mean, we are at 40,000. That's pretty good already, but for now I think we should design that a little bit more, or build that up a little bit more. Coastal fortifications, mostly okay, I think. We should probably actually go ahead and go to the Philippines to increase some fortifications here as such, and maybe do some 8-inch coastal batteries in the Philippines, and I think that's going to be okay. Does have some monthly build cost and all of that, so yeah, still would be nice to have something around here. Good. Next turn. Lots of things finishing up their working up phase, so that's nice to see. So these ships should all now be, so all of these light cruisers over here should now all be in fairly good condition. Yeah, and indeed they are in fair condition, so that's okay. I think we do have enough tonnage on foreign stations, but I think it's about just enough. No obsolete ships or anything, so yeah, that's good. Italian government is interested in this buying stuff. We are not going to buy them anything. CVL Pueblo has no air units. Do you want to create them automatically? No, I actually don't want to do that automatically. I would like to Yes, we can do those. So in Manila. So let's actually have a look on the air base over here. So, alright, so yeah, let's actually get... You know what, let's see what the game would do. So let's auto-add. You know what, I'm fairly happy with this. One fighter squadron, two torpedo bomber squadrons. And you know what, I think we're actually going to change this up so that is somewhat similar. And we're going to add one more unit of 8 torpedo bombers. There we go. So yeah, I think I like this design. That's fairly good. In Manila, we do have quite a couple of torpedo bombers now. That's okay, actually, pretty. I like that setup. A couple of fighters, some flying boats, a lot of torpedo bombers. That's good to me. Right, 4 million money in the bank. I think very soon we should potentially think about designing a new battleship. Because the Soviets do have new fighter prototypes. Very nice. Right, so our current fighter is from 1919. It does have a speed of 120 and a range that is not that great actually. Maneuverability, yeah, so pretty much all of these aircrafts are better in everything except toughness. So that's also an interesting observation. So which one do we want to pick? Douglas Duck, Consolidated Buffalo, or Lockheed Lodestar? I'm mindful, well, the toughness, I would prefer, of course, a toughness of 4. And the maneuverability of 13 does seem a little bit nicer. You're also the fastest, actually. And you have medium range. Basically, a little bit in between. Firepower is all equal. So yeah, we're going to go for the Consolidated Buffalo. That's very nice. Torpedo bombers being re-equipped, so that's okay as well. Great Britain rebuilding a couple of their battleships. Japan is halting one of their battleship constructions. That's also interesting to see. So let's have a look at our guys over here. And I think we also need another float plane scout. So we're gonna do a float plane scout. This is from 1919. Your main priority is going to be range, and I think your secondary priority might be reliability, I think. Yeah, seems fine to me. So you're basically our scouts, and I want you to be scouting ahead reliably. Okay, fine. Right, anything else to see over here? No, we have pretty much... I think it's a fairly good situation. What we might want to do is go for these Kingfishers, so for our low corvettes, and think about adding K-guns to them. You know what, the rebuild cost would be extremely low. Ah, okay, but you need a 900 tons for K-guns. Interesting. We might want to design a new ship then. Can we build corvettes of 900 tons? Let's actually auto design this. Yes, please. Is that a legal corvette? Might be. Yeah. You'd also have minesweeping gear. This would be a nice ship to keep around. Nothing too fancy. Total costs really not that high. 2 million. I think I like it. Lansford. Yeah, let's go for the Lansford class. There we go. It's going to be designed. It's going to take a turn. Then we can build up a couple of these in addition to our Kingfishers. That's going to be okay. Right, more ships being commissioned. Airship diesel engines, okay. We certainly don't need that. Yes, let's go and build a couple of those. I think 10 are going to be fine. For monthly builds cost of 1.5 million. I think that's okay. Great Britain laying down a battleship, interesting. Invented partial welding, okay. All in all, that's okay. We also have a couple of ships ready now, don't we? Well, all in all, everything seems to be fine. So, let's go for the next turn. Baltic states. Germany is apparently sending a force. Ooh. I think we want to do this So we are now actually we have the highest tension that's against Germany. That's interesting. So what do we want to do over here? I think if we send the oldest ships, we do get more budget but less prestige. So let's actually send our latest ships. That's going to be okay. So let's also increase our spy efforts against the Germans, because we might just as well end up against a war in war against them. So yeah, we definitely do need to take that into account. The Colon is still working up. That's okay. I would ideally like to send you. So these guys here, the Colon and the San Juan class, they are our colonial class cruisers, as denoted by that little C over here. So these guys are very good at protecting the colonies, and I think I want to send the Colon over there soon, because these guys here have very poor crew quality, because we sent them on foreign stations before they were actually worked up properly. So yeah, that's something that we do need to take into account. Other than that, everything seems to be fine. In about 7 turns we'd be getting a little bit bigger shipyards. I'm not quite sure just how much bigger, whether it's going to be 41,000 or more. How much are we spending on research? 12, so that's fine. Yeah, next turn. President wants to hold an international naval gathering with a sailing regatta and competition. This will strengthen our blah blah blah. International understanding, go for tensions. Less tensions but more prestige. No. We need to buy warships. Italy rebuilding a couple of things. Great Britain scrapping a battleship. That's interesting news. How are we looking in terms of battleship tonnage? What on earth is going on here? Just look at that. Great Britain has currently 10 battleships of 250,000 tons. That's a big increase. These are very, very big ships. I think we have to think about battleships. It's currently 1925, so it's probably the last time that the battleship really comes into effect. But yeah, I think we have to design new battleships. So let's go ahead. Let's design a ship from the bottom up of 40,000 tons. There we go. You know what? I'm actually going to auto design a battleship. Yeah, there we go. Simply because I want the superstructures to be there. That's a very, very small ship. That's a very, very small ship. Well, obviously we want a little bit bigger guns, and I think we want actually the forward and aft guns to be at the very least triple turrets. So yeah, that is certainly what we want. We want improved directors, yes, that's fine. We also want director for secondary guns. Secondary guns of caliber 6 and caliber 3 tertiary guns. We could go for caliber 8 over here, simply because that's a little bit better quality, but maybe a little bit less of those. 6 per side, I think that's fine. Certainly don't want to have any torpedo mounts. That's fine. Torpedo defenses are very good. Let's check the design. Seriously overweight. Yes, of course. Low free port. No. You should be normal. You'll be oil-fired speed. No. Well, do we want to go speed or normal? I think normal is fine. Right, and of course it's way too small for all the things that it is carrying. Let's actually go for the full 40,000 that we can currently afford. Yeah, otherwise it seems to be legal, so that's nice. We don't have any good quality caliber 15 guns, so I think this is going to be okay. Let's actually go and have a look at the gun data. So this doesn't have any immunity zone. It's a little bit unfortunate, and I think the deck armor is way too low, especially at the extended ranges. This just doesn't cut it anymore, so I think we have to go for much higher deck armor. Actually, just how high does it need to be? Probably at least need at least 6 or so. Probably rather 7. Turret top also needs to be... Well, turret top needs to be better than anything else, I think. Conning tower, let's increase that a little bit. Secondaries, I think these can be a little bit smaller. Right, but we still really don't have enough weight. And this is also pretty low, actually. We could go for magazine box protection. Conning tower turrets. Turrets are not that well armored over here. Secondaries, the weight of these is not that high. You know what, let's go for 8 secondary guns. That does save quite a bit of weight. We also have to do more of those, I think. It's an aircraft. Sorry, it's a... Ah! There we go. Yeah, but the weight. Seriously overweight. It's not legal. Do need an improved director. I do think we don't want to go for anything less than 10 guns. Could do with a little bit less armor rounds per gun, maybe. They're very, very weighty. Okay, so how much speed? 21 knots. Is that something... I don't think we want to compromise on that anymore. We're using oil-fired diesel. Probably won't save us any weight. No, it doesn't. Coal obviously doesn't. So oil it has to be. Just how big would you need to be legal? Very, very big. Okay, so let's see what we can do with 42,000 tons. I think... okay, we can actually only design ships up to 40,000. Too much weight. We have to compromise either on the guns or on the ammo. Sorry, either on the guns or on the armor. So total armor is about 39%, this 24%, so probably have to reduce this a little bit. Torpedo space, we can't compromise on that. Could go for magazine box protection. This might not be the worst idea. It's going to be halved in all other areas. So we'll actually have to increase this to compensate. But you know what? I think this is okay. This is going to be an interesting choice. Yeah, that would be legal design. I think this. Yeah, I think we're close to getting this. So. Can we go 10? No, we can't go 10. 9.5? Yes. Conning tower a little bit more? Yeah. I think this is a fine design. The California class. We don't have the California in service. Nope, we don't. So yeah, I'm happy with this. Let's design it. There we go. It's going to take 4 months. And that's okay. So in 4 months we actually might have slightly larger ships. Colon has finished working up, that's nice to see. Torpedo breakthrough, that doesn't matter that much to us. Interesting information about, 23 knots. And belt armor 13 inches. Just how are they able to construct something like this? Really interesting. Okay, but Colon has finished its working up, so that's nice to see. Let's actually put you on foreign station. And then we can go and take the Manila off foreign station to the active fleet. So that it can... You're actually cheaper to maintain, even though you're probably the better ship. You're the much better ship. Interesting. Oh well. Okay, so we're sending you to foreign station. You can train up a little, so that's okay. No ship has become obsolete, so that's nice to see. Doing the design study over here, that's good. Couple of ships being finished sooner or later, in about 10 months or so. Yeah, but the most important one is actually the Montana. Next turn. Got the 8-inch coastal guns, that's nice. Yes, of course we can do well in war against Germany. Ooh. Enables 3 and 4-inch twin dual purpose mounts. Very good to see. I thought we had those. Oh well. Very good. Next turn. Ooh, there we go. So you have only 8 15-inch guns. That's why you're not. Well, that's why you can be so fast and so well armored. Because you simply don't have that good guns. Interesting that you do have medium AA guns though. Interesting. Large aircraft carrier. So here's a research breakthrough. We can now enable purpose-built carrier ships. So that's extremely nice to see. And we've got the new float plane. So let's actually look at that. I think the range is the most important. So I'm tempted to go with these. The other guys do have slightly bigger bomb loads. But your toughness is great. Your maneuverability is great. Your range with a heavy loadout is much better. Your speed isn't that great, but you know what, that's fine. So I'd mostly be tempted to choose between those two. The low one is slightly faster, less maneuverable, that's less tough, but it can carry bigger bombs. But you know what, we're gonna go for the Curtis Catalina because we simply want good scouting abilities. Right. So, purpose-built carriers, eh? Let's see what we can do with those in, I think, 3 turns, so that we can maybe... Oh, but we can't build that big ones, so it's actually something that we might want to design next turn. So, looking very much forward to see you guys then, and yeah, do leave a like and all of that if you want. Otherwise, I see you guys next time. Bye-bye.